Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now. Let's talk about where the Falcons stand right now as we're deep into the offseason, approaching training camp, and the buzz around the team is nothing short of intriguing. The Atlanta Falcons, a franchise with a rich history and a passionate fanbase, are at a pivotal crossroads. After a roller coaster of a season last year, full of ups and downs, they're looking to build on what they have and make that leap into genuine playoff contention. But as is often the case in the NFL, the offseason brings a mix of hope, uncertainty, and bold moves. And this year, one of the biggest storylines involves their quarterback situation and some potential shuffling in the roster that could reshape the division. Starting at the quarterback position, the Falcons have been in a bit of a limbo. Desmond Ridder, their promising young quarterback, showed flashes last season, but he's still unproven at the NFL level. The team's management, including general manager Terrey Fontenot and head coach Arthur Smith, have made it clear that they're still evaluating their options. They've been linked to veteran quarterbacks, trying to find that perfect mix of experience and youth to lead the team into the playoffs. One name that's been thrown around a lot in NFL circles is Kirk Cousins. Yes, Kirk Cousins, the veteran gunslinger from Minnesota. The Falcons, reportedly, had been exploring a trade for him, especially considering the fact that they're looking to add depth and stability at the position. But as of now, those trade talks have cooled off. This is a significant development, folks, because if you've been paying close attention, you know that Cousins was seen as a potential fit for Atlanta, especially given his experience, leadership, and ability to perform under pressure. But the NFL is a tricky game, and sometimes things just don't fall into place. The latest update is that Cousins' last possible landing spot, the Pittsburgh Steelers, finally struck a deal with Aaron Rodgers, ending that chapter. That leaves Cousins without a clear destination, and Atlanta stuck with his contract, which, let's be honest, is a hefty $27.5 million salary for a backup quarterback. Now, the Falcons have publicly stated that they're comfortable keeping Cousins as a backup, but deep down, you have to wonder if that's the best move. Because paying a veteran quarterback that kind of money for a backup is exactly a no-brainer, especially when you're trying to develop your young talent and build for the future. And that brings us to a critical point. What does this mean for Atlanta's quarterback room? Well, if Desmond Ridder doesn't take a big step forward during training camp and the early part of the season, the temptation might be to revisit Cousins, especially since Atlanta faces a brutal start to their schedule. 4 of their first 5 games are against teams that made the playoffs last year, and 3 of those are primetime matchups. That's a lot of pressure on a young QB. ESPN's Dan Graziano pointed out that if Ridder struggles, the Falcons might consider turning back to Cousins, even if he disappointed last season. It's a classic NFL scenario. Sometimes, teams fall back on the veteran, even if it's not the most ideal long-term solution. Meanwhile, the trade market continues to buzz around other players on the roster, and one name that's gaining attention is Tyler Allgeier. The young running back, who's only in his 3rd NFL season, has shown flashes of promise, and he's a player that could be on the move this offseason. With Bijan Robinson now firmly established as Atlanta's starting running back, drafted to be the centerpiece of the offense, Allgeier's role is less certain. His contract expires at the end of this year, and he's set to hit unrestricted free agency. If another team offers Atlanta an exceptional deal, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Falcons move him. Allgeier, after all, has proven to be a reliable runner when given the opportunity. Last season, he rushed for over 10 yards, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. That's impressive for a guy who's been primarily a backup. His versatility and power make him an attractive option for teams in need of a dependable running back. But of course, the Falcons have a lot of moving parts on offense, and with Robinson entrenched as the lead back, they might prefer to seek a cheaper or younger option to develop behind him. This could be a smart move for Atlanta, especially since they're rebuilding their roster with an eye toward sustained success. Trading Algier could not only bring in draft capital or young players, but also help them manage the salary cap more effectively. The NFL is a league where depth and cap management are crucial, and Atlanta's front office seems to be making calculated decisions to position the team for the long haul. Now, let's zoom out for a moment and talk about the bigger picture. The Falcons have been building a competitive roster, investing heavily in their defense and offensive line this offseason. They've also added some promising young players through the draft and free agency, aiming to create a balanced team capable of competing in what's shaping up to be a very competitive NFC South. The division is getting tougher each year, with teams like the Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers all making moves to improve. The Saints, for example, added Derek Carr at quarterback, trying to find that missing piece to get back to the playoffs. The Panthers are in a full rebuild, with a new coaching staff and a top draft pick, and the Bucs are still a threat with their veteran-laden roster. But the Falcons are positioning themselves to be a dark horse in this division. Their offseason moves reflect a clear plan: develop young talent, maintain flexibility with salary cap space, and be aggressive in the trade market if the right opportunity arises. Their coaching staff, led by Arthur Smith, has shown that they're willing to adapt and make bold decisions. The development of quarterback Desmond Ridder will be crucial. If he takes a leap forward, Atlanta could surprise a lot of people. And if they manage to add a reliable veteran like Cousins as a bridge, it could buy Ridder valuable experience without putting too much pressure on him early in his career. But let's not forget the importance of the offensive line and the skill position players. The Falcons spent significant draft capital on improving their offensive line last year, and they're hoping that the combination of rookie development and veteran leadership will create a more potent attack. Their receiving core, with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, is young and talented, but still needs consistency. A stable quarterback situation would do wonders for their offensive production, and that's why the quarterback conundrum is such a hot topic among Falcons fans right now. Everyone wants to see their team take that next step, and getting a reliable signal caller is key. And speaking of the defense, Atlanta's defense last year showed flashes of brilliance, especially with young playmakers like A.J. Terrell and linebacker Troy Anderson. The team invested in adding depth and experience in the secondary, and there's a sense that their defensive scheme, coordinated by Dean Pease, can be a real strength if they stay healthy and continue to develop. The NFC South isn't just about offense. It's about who can control the trenches and make key stops when it counts. Atlanta wants to be that team, and they've been working hard to get there. Now, let's talk about expectations for this season. The Falcons' schedule is tough right out of the gate. Facing playoff teams early on can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a chance to prove themselves against the best. On the other, it's a test of their resilience and depth. If Desmond Ridder can show steady improvement and the team can stay healthy, they could very well surprise some skeptics. The division is wide open, and with a few breaks, Atlanta could find itself in the playoff hunt. But the key is consistency, especially at the quarterback position. If they can get that right, the sky's the limit. Looking ahead, the trade deadline and the offseason are going to be critical for the Falcons. They might find themselves in a position where they need to make a bold move, whether it's trading for a veteran quarterback, moving on from Algier, or adding a key piece to their defense. The NFL is a league of strategic moves, and the Falcons are showing that they're ready to play that game at a high level. Their management has shown patience and a willingness to adapt, which is exactly what you want as a fan rooting for sustainable success. To wrap up, what's really exciting about the Atlanta Falcons right now is the sense of possibility. They have a young core, a talented coaching staff, and a clear vision. The quarterback situation remains the biggest question mark, but the team's front office is doing everything they can to position themselves for a competitive 2024 season. Whether it's developing Ridder, adding a veteran like Cousins, or making a splash through a trade, the Falcons are not sitting still. They're in the thick of the fight, and that's what makes following this team so thrilling. The NFC South is shaping up to be a battleground, and Atlanta wants to be at the forefront of that fight. Fans are eager, hopeful, and ready to see their team take that next step toward greatness. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these developments? Do you think the team should move on from Algier and focus on building around Robinson? Or do you believe they should hold on to their depth at running back? How do you see the quarterback situation unfolding? Do you think Ritter is ready to take that leap? Or should they be aggressive in trying to bring in a veteran like Cousins? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. The offseason is just getting started, and the excitement is only going to grow from here. Thanks for being with me, and as always, let's go Falcons!